So I just got done with my fasted cardio for the day that I do every single morning, and I have been for pretty much the past 6 months. And man, that time of my day just feels so peaceful. Like, you guys have no clue. Just waking up and having complete alone time. Like, right now, I don't even know where my phone is. It's in my pocket. Right now, it's 5:41 in the morning, and I've already done an hour of cardio. Nobody is awake. Nobody's up to like text me and ask for shit and this and that. And that honestly is just so peaceful to me. I haven't jumped on here and made a video in a long time. Obviously, I'm sitting here charging my car, so I wanted to hop on here and talk to you guys. I feel super, super rusty. I feel like everything feels a little bit foreign right now. And that's because I haven't jumped on and made a video in a while. And really what's been on my mind recently, really today and yesterday, has been how I've just removed a lot of things out of my life, man. So I don't really share too much of my story, and that's kind of what I want to do. And I don't know exactly which parts I want to really tell you guys and which parts, I want to kind of glaze over. But I've just recognized that over the past, I'm 23 now, turning 24. Over the past 5 to 7 years of my life, I have completely changed as a person. And that's been through the process of just removing stuff, right? And I've made videos on this, but it's crazy how it just keeps on happening and keeps on happening. And that can apply to friends, that can apply to material possessions, that could apply to locations. I mean, man. So when I was younger, like around 17, 18, I got this job, right? And I got this job at like the sneaker store, and pretty much we just sold like resold shoes, right? And I would just work as like a salesperson. So I wasn't anybody crazy there, but I was around people that, of course, my coworkers and whatever. And I was still in high school at the time, but really my coworkers were like my friends at the time. And they're not bad people, but I was around people that, looking back on it, were inherently lazy and were very just accepting of the position that they were in, just very accepting of the position that they were in, not really willing to branch out and like try other things. I remember at the time I probably was around like 200 pounds, but I was like fat. Like, I didn't work out or anything like that. And I would see people that would work out, customers and stuff, because I was working in a mall. And I always wondered to myself, like, how can I look like that? And I love relating all this stuff to working out, because it's just something that has made such a big impact in my life personally. But I would look at like, guys that would come in, customers and shit, and I would just ask myself, like, bro, how can I look like that? How can I develop that physique for myself? Like, I didn't really understand how, because I didn't know anybody that worked out or like was a bodybuilder or anything like that. That wasn't something that was normal to me, right? I didn't know. So anyways, being around these people kind of put me in a position where I was just accepting of where I was at. I looked at money like it was impossible to get. I mean, I would see people buy $2, $3, $4, $5,000 items from the store, and I would just ask myself, like, how is that even possible? Or how that could never be me, or how that was just something that was just not achievable for me. you know? And I looked at the muscle stuff the same way, right? I kind of just assumed that, like, that was just not in the cards for me. And that had a lot to do with the people that I was around, right? These are not bad people either. And that's something I want to stress, because maybe some of you guys are watching this video right now. I don't know. But these are not bad people, right? Most people are not necessarily bad intentionally. But for my goals and for what I wanted to do with my life, it wasn't the right people to be around. So fast forward a little bit, I started seeking a more valuable circle for me, you know? And that is really what fucking changed my life forever. Because it exposed me to all the things that I was never previously exposed to. I mean, I would go out, and I thought going to like Cheesecake Factory was like going out to eat. And exposing myself to a broader circle of more successful people made me realize that there's 3-star Michelin restaurants out there that I didn't even know about, that the services makes Cheesecake Factory look like McDonald's. You know what I mean? And that was like a law of exposure type of thing for me, where I just got around people who were levels and levels above me. And that then exposed me to people who were levels above them. And then it just became a domino effect of me taking action to just keep progressing, right, through certain areas of my life based on the people that I had met. So, and what I was seeing from them, right? So, anyways, now, at that point of my life, right, where I'm around 21, 22 years old, I'm just starting to piece together, like, understanding life and piecing together what things cost and what I really want, and kind of finding myself. I think that a lot of guys, even probably a lot of you who are watching this, probably around the age of 20, 21, 22, around there, maybe a little bit older, maybe 25, I don't know, 30, whatever you are, probably asking yourself the same thing, probably trying to figure out what you actually want. It's funny, I was just listening to a podcast, and I heard in the podcast that, it was just a funny quote, that 99% of the battle is just figuring out what you actually want. The 1% is just actually doing what it takes to get there. And it's crazy because it's not even a physical thing, it's just mental, right? Just actually making the decision, like, yeah, this is for me. Because there's not really many paths that you can walk down with full intention without sacrificing the other paths, right? So, as I was exposed to more people that were more successful than me in different avenues of life, not only financial, right? Some of them were more successful in other ways. And by other ways, I mean, you know, they might have been more successful in things that I admired. Fitness, they might have been more successful in with women, things like that, right? So it started to, like I said, expose me to the different possibilities of what I could be and who I can become and the person that I can build and the things that I can accomplish, right? So then I started chunking down, like, what do I have to do to get to that level? And with the fitness, I started with just showing up, right? The power of just showing up. I started just going to the gym, like, every day, you know? Started going to the gym every day. Started just going. Didn't even know what I was doing. I would just go. And my thought process on the whole shit was like, if you don't know what you're doing, if you have no clue if you're making any progress or not, the best thing you could do every day is just show up. That was my thought process, honestly. And hey, here we are now, you know? Those of you guys that follow me on Instagram, you guys see I post all the time, fitness stuff, whatever. And and my transformation and things like that. And it's funny because it all started with like that one little speck of exposure, right? It all started with that dream of like, let me just try this shit, and I admired people who were muscular and had good shape, and that specific quality was just something that attracted me so much that I was pretty much willing to do whatever it took to get there. Like I was willing to do whatever it took to get there. I was willing to educate myself on how to get there. And wow, what a fucking change it's been. That is crazy even to think about, even to look at some of the old pictures, you know what I mean? And I was looking on my phone the other day. I want to see if I could actually pull up the picture. But like I was looking at even a picture like this. This isn't even as bad as it was, but even a picture like this, and I'm just like, wow, like I was huge. You know what I mean? I was huge with no muscle whatsoever. And then now for this video to be taken yesterday, hopefully you guys can see that, right? Where my weight is pretty much the same or maybe even a little bit higher. And I'm, leaner, more muscular, whatever. And like all it took was just showing up every day. You know what I mean? And there's days where I didn't feel like it. There's days where the workout was shittier. There's days where the meals were shitty. There's days where the sleep was shitty. All that stuff. But all it took was just showing up every day and really wanting this shit. And just building the fucking person that I wanted to become. Because I told myself that I was willing to do whatever it took. And when I was tested to see if I actually was willing to do whatever it took, I passed. And it's not that I've like made it or anything like that. I don't consider myself to have made it in any realm, but I do consider myself to be the type of person that's doing whatever it takes to get to the goal that I want to achieve. And wow, because I'm just shocked. I'm just shocked at the progression. I'm shocked at how when one person sets their mind into something, you could really build something incredible. And that's how I feel about this right now. That's how I feel about recording this video for you guys. That's how I feel about the people that DM me on Instagram, supporting my content and things like that. I mean, right now as I'm recording this, I think I have probably like 100 and a little bit over 100 subscribers. And it's crazy because I don't view that as just a small number. I don't view it as, oh, you only have 100, whatever. I view it as 100 fucking people that went to my channel. Like a group of 100 people that went over to the channel. Some of you guys watching this right now, hit the subscribe button. And for the handful of you that regularly tune in, that's just crazy. And it's just going to keep growing. It's just going to keep growing. Yeah, I've been slacking on the videos, I'll be honest. But we're here, we're recording. And as much as I feel a little bit weird recording this, I'm still going to record it. I'm still going to put it out for you guys, because if I'm going to show up for myself, why would I not show up for you? And that's the way that I view it. So, anyways, the point of this video was really to discuss leveling up and surroundings. So I'm going to get back to that. So, where I was in the story was, I was probably around 21, around there, 20 or 21. And like I was saying, I was exposing myself to people that were much bigger, that were much more successful in certain areas. And I remember around this time, I went to Miami. And Miami is dope. Miami is cool. For those of you guys that have been, you know. And that really showed me what it's like to have like true success in many areas. Now, hold on. I'm probably not even going to cut this out, but my lips are chapped as hell. So, Miami, I don't know why I was trying to talk while doing that shit. Anyways, so in Miami, I know that there's a lot of like rentals and stuff like that. I'm not only talking about the cars, but for those of you that haven't been, let me explain Miami for you. So, I've been many times, probably like, not that many times, I don't know, probably like 7, something like that, but it showed me that there are realms of possibilities that you have no clue actually exist out in the real world. Like, when you grow up in a place where nobody has a supercar, nobody could really afford much, like, yeah, you can afford to live, but can you really afford to live how the fuck you want to live, right? When you live in a place like that, and when you grow up in a place like that, you're just exposed to the normal average lifestyle of like, just wake up, just go to work, go to work, do what you gotta do, make like 10 grand a month or something like that. At least, where I live, that's kind of just like a standard to just live. And just chill. And when I got exposed to Miami, like as of like the people that live in the city and stuff, it made me realize there's people that make a lot more money and are a lot more successful than you think. I mean, people will probably comment on this or whatever, say to themselves like, oh, well, a lot of it's like rentals and whatever. And I'm not talking about the supercars. I'm talking about the guy that has the $20,000 a month penthouse, right? $20,000 to spend on an apartment every month that goes into no equity, nothing. And is able to wake up every day, go down to the parking garage that he spends $1,000 a month in just parking spots, and drives one of 4 cars that are all above $150,000 each, right? Adding up to over $1 million or whatever the heck, right? The guy that has that level of freedom, that is also jacked, that is also very experienced in communication and knows how to display himself to the world properly, I'll say. That is what I saw, right? Yeah, the cars and stuff are cool, but I'm not really that impressed by vehicles, because I know that vehicles are they're just loans, right? It's not really anything that crazy. And it's also not a proper representation of the person driving it, right? It's about the driver, not the car. So, anyways, I was exposed to that. And I was exposed to that level of freedom. I was exposed to that level of ability to just do whatever the fuck you wanted, right? And basically the ability to have fuck you money, right? And fuck you money is when you could just pull up somewhere, throw $5,000 in the air or whatever the heck, and just leave like nothing happened, right? And I saw that in the club. I don't really go to the club much anymore, but I saw that in the club. I saw that in just different ways, you know what I mean? Maybe they would like just rent a car just for fun for like 2 days, drop like $5 grand on the freaking rental and just be good. And I was not able to do that. So to me, that was like, it wasn't about the car, it was about the ability to just do that, right? And that's not even that much money. People were doing that with much more money, right? With just other things in life, right? Renting a freaking yacht for 10 grand for 4 hours. You know what I mean? Like, people are out here doing that. And where I come from, that's not normal. being able to just go buy a supercar, or just the ability, right, to go buy a supercar, to go, rent a yacht, drop 10 grand, to go to the club, spend this much, like, just a level of freedom just exposed me to, or Miami just exposed me to that level of freedom where I was just like, fuck, man. There is no way that I could just chill. No possible way. Like, how, after seeing this, am I going to go back and just be like, yeah, all right, fuck it. I'll just, have a job and whatever, just live the rest of my life making 10, 15 grand a month. No. That is not in the cards. But I always knew that I was destined for more. And the funny part is I always go back to fitness because it's just the one thing that's like the cornerstone of it all for me, right? And I have an old Instagram account from 4 years ago. That Instagram account is called Vinny B Gets Big. I haven't even posted it yet. Vinny B Gets Big. And that account has posts from 2021, from 2022, 2023, mainly 2021 and 2022, of me being fucking fat and not understanding what I was doing in the gym, but just showing up every day, right? But I knew that one day I would be fit. I knew. I just knew it deep down. I knew within my fucking soul that I would be fit. And I wanted it so bad that I would post on that profile. I wish I posted more. I honestly wish I posted more so people can go down and freaking see. I wish I posted stories and how my thought process was. I wish I posted all that, And I just knew that it was possible. I knew that it was going to happen. And I knew that no matter what, I wasn't going to give up. And that's how I feel about all of this. I feel like, I drive down, I see $4 or $5 million houses. I'm like, I just know I'm going to have that. I just know. I'm probably going to look back on this video and be like, fuck, this motherfucker was right. And something that has stuck with me throughout this entire process is, if you want to be like the 1%, or even lower than the 1%, if you want to be 0.1% or 1% of the 1%, whatever the hell you want to be, you can't expect the other 99 point whatever percent to understand, right? Most people are not going to understand. That's how I view it, is that whenever somebody questions me, or they just don't understand what I'm doing or why I'm doing what I'm doing, I just tell myself, listen, that's the 99%. Of course they're not going to understand. It's not their fault. It's just how they are. It's just how they're wired. They're not meant to understand that vision for yourself. And man, is that shit true. Everybody's going to root for you at the beginning. And when it comes time for the middle, right, they're going to root for you at the beginning, they're going to root for you at the end. And when it comes time for the middle, all the work that has to be done in between, you're not going to hear from anybody. Gone. Nowhere to be heard from. Because that's just not how life works. They'll root for you when you're winning. They'll root for you when you're starting. But they're not going to root for you when it takes all the work in the middle to actually make shit happen. This video right now is exactly how that feels for me. I don't feel like anybody watches this shit. I feel like maybe some of the videos have views because I post them on my story or whatever on Instagram. But I don't really feel like anybody watches this shit. And I'll be honest, there's times where it's kind of discouraging, seeing people that get a lot of engagement and attention on their profiles and stuff. And I don't really get that much, right? I'm not sad about it, but it's like, damn, like, is this shit even worth it? Like, does anybody even watch this? But I don't give a fuck. Because there's going to be one person watching this that's probably going to be like me 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And if this video changes that one person's life, maybe it's changing yours right now, then that's what fucking matters. That's what matters to me. Because these are the things that changed mine. I went from being completely fucking broke and fat and comfortable with my life and basically in this gigantic mess and lack of freedom to do what I wanted to this, which is in a way better position. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, don't get me wrong, but a way better position than I once was. And it's just crazy how it all just comes back full circle. All of it. You know? I never thought I'd be making videos like this. Never. I would watch YouTube videos for years. I've been watching YouTube and stuff like that for like 10 years. And I never thought I'd be making a video like just sitting here in my $60,000 car. I mean, it's worth $20,000 now, but $60,000 car, muscles, lean. You know, my face actually looks fucking lean. Like, got a brand new iPhone. I mean, it's not brand new, but, you know, relatively. And none of this stuff was guaranteed. All this stuff was worked for. All this stuff is continued to be worked for. And I'm just grateful for it all, man. I'm grateful for the journey. I'm grateful for the exposure. I'm grateful for the ability to wake up, walk around, breathe, and be able to ruthlessly go after my goals. So that's what I wanted to share. I don't know where this video is ending off or exactly where I might cut it or whatever. Actually, I'm not even going to cut this video. I'm just going to post it as it is. If you guys want to go ahead and drop me a follow on IG, I'm going to leave the link down below. And of course, as always, you guys are going to keep seeing a lot more content. So feel free to drop a subscribe, whether you do or don't. I don't really care. But I'm going to keep posting videos like this. And I'm going to make sure that I show up for you guys. So the ultimate thing of me would be, the ultimate most selfish thing for me to do would be to just go on this journey by myself and make the progression by myself. And why do that when I can share it with you? So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.